Okay then guys, welcome back to another review, this time a gear review of the Dye i5 mask. This is probably one of the coolest purchases I've made in a little while for Airsoft, and it's all about safety this time. Now, I have been experimenting with a couple of different types of Face Pro. I made an earlier video which was called Face Pros and Cons, and the idea behind that was quite simple. It was to look at different types of face protection and try and figure out what was the best one, both kind of for me in general, but also for different circumstances, so the kind of different play that airsofters get up to, everything from CQB to more woodland games. And I think I finally settled on my favourite. Now, first thing that we argued about in a previous episode was the difference between full face or kind of partial face protection. So I normally run a setup which is a pair of basically glasses with a lower face mesh mask. And the issue of that is that while on one hand you get the bonus that it's much more kind of freeing and less restrictive compared to full face, and on long game days where you've got exceedingly long games, especially for woodland games or mil sims, you know, you've got all of this freedom and it's a little bit easier. But I have been playing non-stop CQB now for about 6-7 months, and the issue of playing non-stop CQB is that you start to learn pretty early on that you want to cover as much of your head as possible while playing. So onto this mask then, because this is what I've picked up. So first of all, dye masks are everywhere. You will see them at nearly every field every field I've been to, I've seen one, and I'm sure that you guys will all find it just the same. And there's a reason why you see these everywhere. They offer amazing protection. They are 99.9% fog free if you look after them right. Super tough. I've taken shots point blank with this thing on, and what is surprising me is I've had different Face Pro that I've taken point blank shots from that have had kind of marks on them or scratches and stuff like that. This has come away scot-free. Now you might be able to see some blemishes on the lens, but that's mostly just some grubbiness. I probably should have cleaned it a little bit more before the video, but this thing is held up kind of really well, especially in the games I've taken it to. Now, first thing I want to draw your attention to is how much of the face it covers. So this top part here kind of goes up to the middle of my forehead, and this covers the whole of the bottom half of my face. Now, if you buy the smaller version of this mask, which I believe is the i4, you will not cover your chin or your forehead as much. So this is more of the full face. Now, I run this with a hat on, so I wear like backwards baseball cap style at the back of this, and that just gives the rest of my head a lot of protection, a little bit of fabric there in case it gets shot above the mask. As far as it also goes for side protection, your ears are safe and sound, and you've also got a big old pad at the back of your head. Now you haven't got to worry about it breaking any of the mechanisms on the back of your head either, because this is super duper tough, so you've got a bit of back of your head protection too. The protection's solid. The only thing that I found which I would kind of change slightly is maybe around the side of the head. I feel like my hearing is not as good as when I'm not wearing a mask like this, but you can still hear particularly well with these on. Now, as far as it goes for the inside of the mask, it's pretty comfy. All of this foam is replaceable on the i5. It's not replaceable on the i4 systems. On the i4, you have to cut it out and glue in a new one. This one just unclips, you stick a brand new one in. Same with the strap. If for some reason you break the strap, you just take the straps off using the clips on the side, and you can buy a new strap. I know that elastic wears out over time, so if you need a new one, you can pop that on. And then last of all, the lens is also completely replaceable as well. This pops off, and they have a bunch of different lens replacements, which allows you to personalize and customize your mask as much as you want, with some really cool funky colors and kind of styles, which is awesome. On the inside as well, you've also got a chin strap. I don't know how much I like this. I don't really think it provides much, but hey ho, you might have had a bit more use of this and it's come in handy, but I've yet to actually feel like it's doing anything other than just being there. And then you've obviously got the grill that covers your mouth there too. I do tend to find on days where you're breathing a lot out of your mouth, so it's kind of, and it condensates on the inside. It does get a bit wet in there, so you have to give it a bit of a wipe out if you're playing for a particularly long period of time. Otherwise it is solid. Few extra features of this mask is that these little caps here on the left and the right can be removed, and there is a GoPro mount that you can stick in these little bits here, and that GoPro mount allows you to attach cameras onto the side of your head, which is pretty darn cool. So when you see lots of people running around getting some amazing shots, which I would like to do in the future but I'm not planning to do at the moment, that's how they do it often a lot of the time. Or you can buy a little mount that goes into the top of your mask here, and you can have it above your head as well. So only things that I'd say about this mask is you do need to look after it right. It comes with a bag, use it. Fingerprint marks on the outside of the mask or anything on the outside of the mask is fine. However, speaking with a lot of people and speaking with the people in the shop that sell this, I bought this from BZ Tactical. If you do anything to the inside of your mask here, the inside layer, if you touch it, if you get it wet, if you get rubbish on it and stuff like that, and you wipe it off, the protective anti-fog layer in there is going to go straight along with it. Now you can reapply it with anti-fog materials, but again, it's never going to be as good as it was when you first got it out of the box. And on top of that as well, when you start messing with things and you add more things in, you mess with things, you add more things in, this never-ending cycle of having to spend money to maintain something that if you'd looked after in the first place, you will have no problems at all. I took this out on probably one of the worst days of the year to do Airsoft. There was literally people that had stopped playing the game because everybody's masks were fogged up because it was like 22, 23 degrees. It was pouring with rain, okay? The rain was cold, everybody was boiling hot, condensation galore, and this stood really nicely, no fogging whatsoever. So just take that as a little tip from me, don't touch the inside of your goggles. Even if there's like a little crumb of dirt or something like that, just leave it. If it's not going to kill you, you'll be fine. Just be very careful cleaning or doing anything with the inside of your mask, as you will find that you will negatively affect the quality of the anti-fog system. Other than that, this is a solid piece of kit. So I hope the information I've given you has been enough to satisfy you lot in the audience. I would personally recommend this to anybody who's getting seriously into Airsoft that just wants to have complete and utter safety in CQB. I wouldn't recommend this if you're not doing CQB. There's absolutely no need. Unless you're doing close quarters combat all the time, there's no need to wear something this big, this bulky and this protective. You know, go with the glasses and the lower mesh. Way more realistic if you're into milsim, and way more comfortable long term if you're sat out in a field for 6 hours on a long game where you're not coming into the safe zone for a long time. You know, you can pull down your lower mesh mask, have a drink, have a snack, perfectly safe during the game. You can't eat or drink with one of these things on without risking your eyesight, which is a bit of a downside. So what I would say is it would be awesome if these exact masks came in the exact same way they have here, but this bit here having some kind of quick detach option, so you can take off the lower mask even if it's just for a couple of minutes, just eat and drink and stick it back on again. That would be pretty cool. I don't know if it would be safe though. Otherwise, hopefully you guys have enjoyed that, and we will see you in the next one.